Good morning children. Welcome again here in this video tutorial. In the last tutorial class, we have completed the chapter number 6, that is adaptation in plants. So let's do revision of chapter number 6. Revision of chapter number 6, that is adaptation in plants. Alright. So what is adaptation in plants? Plants, we know that plants growing in different regions. Okay. Plants growing in different regions differ from one another. The place where a plant naturally lives and grows is called its habitat. Okay. The place where a plant naturally lives and grows is called its habitat. Okay. For example, a desert is a habitat for a cactus plant and a pond is a habitat for a lotus plant. You might have seen that lots of lotus plant and water lily lives in pond, right? Grows in water. Plant have some special feature. Just look at this statement. Plant have some special features that allow them to live in a particular habitat. These special features are called adaptations. So if I'll ask you that question, what is adaptation? So you will simply say that plant have some special features that allow them to live in a particular habitat. These special features are called adaptations. Okay. So we know children, plants grow everywhere. Okay. They grow both on land and in water. So plants which live on land or grow on land are called terrestrial plants. So what are terrestrial plants? Plants which grow on land are called terrestrial plants. So we just categorize terrestrial plants in following ways. We just divide it into the following groups based on their habitat. So plants growing on mountains, plant growing in plains, plant growing in desert, plant growing in marshy areas, and plants growing in the coastal regions. So look on the first, that is plants growing on mountain. Alright. So children, plants growing on mountains. These regions are normally very cold. Many mountain peaks receive snowfall. You can see snowfall here. Alright. You can see snowfall here. Right. In winters, some trees found on hills and mountains are pine, fir, deodar, spruce, etc. Some flowerless plants like ferns, mosses and lichens also grow here. Some adaptation shown by the plants growing on the mountain are they have needle-shaped leaves. You can see here needle-shaped leaves, and they bear cones. So see, they bear cones and not flowers, so that the snow slides down easily during a snowfall. They have a thick woody and straight stem. Alright children. See in this picture, they have thick woody and straight stem. So these are the example of plants of cold climate or plants grow on mountains. Okay, so the examples are fir tree, okay, fir tree, pine tree, and this is a pine tree and cedar tree. Alright children? They have needle-like leaves with a waxy coating. You can see here needle-like leaves and waxy coating. This helps to prevent loss of water and also allows the rain or snow to slide off easily. Alright? These trees bear cones. See the cones here. Okay. Instead of flowers, they do not bear flowers. These trees bear cones, right? So they are called conifers. That's why we can say that the other name of these trees are conifers. So we have example of conifers. You can see here needle shaped leaves and cones also. So the example of conifers are pine, fir, cedar and some of other conifers. Okay. So next is plants growing in plains. So see, plants are the flat and large areas of land. Generally, plains are neither very cold nor very hot. They suppose to growth of a variety of trees, herbs and shrubs. Some example of trees growing in plains are peepal, mango. You can see a peepal tree and this is mango tree and this is banyan tree. Fine. So these are the example of trees which grow on plains. Some more example we have here: gulmohar, cotton and sesame. All right children, see, this is a picture of gulmohar tree. Okay, some parts of the plains receive heavy rainfall while others receive less rainfall. So look at here, plants in areas with rainfall. Mango, Ashoka, Gulmohar are some trees that grow in areas with low rainfall. Their adaptations are as follows. These trees have many branches that spread around. Alright, they have many branches. So which trees have many branches? Mango, Ashoka and Gulmohar. Most of the trees shade all their leaves during the dry season and they are called deciduous trees. Children, in previous lecture I have asked you a question that what are deciduous trees? So you can see here most of the trees shade all their leaves during the dry season and they are called deciduous trees. Alright. Now next is plants growing in deserts. Extremely hot and dry places are called deserts. So first of all we know about what are deserts. Extremely hot and dry places are called deserts. There are very little water available in the deserts. Cactus, date palm, babool and kikar are few plants that can be found in a desert. Desert plants are also known as xerophytes, right? Some adaptations shown by desert plants are as follows. So you can see here, their leaves change into spines to prevent water loss by transpiration. The stem in some plants is green due to the presence of chlorophyll. The stem prepares food in such plants. Okay, in cactus plant, which part of cactus plant prepare food for the whole plant? So we can say that the stem prepare food in such plants. Fine. The stem also stores food and water which makes it fleshy. Okay, roots spread out deep under the ground in search of water and nutrients. All right, so you can see here leaves are modified into spines. Okay, see, leaves are modified into spines. The spines prevent loss of water and also protect the plant from animals. So here you can also see this is the picture of cactus plant. So their leaves are modified into spines. Okay, now move on to the next. Plants growing in marshy areas. Marshy areas or swamps are areas of lowland that are always wet, right? The soil in marshes is waterlogged and short of air. Mostly cattles, sages, papyrus and swaggrass sawgrass are examples of plants growing in marshes. Alright children, so some adaptations of these plants are as follows. First one is they have adventitious roots that grow upwards out of water to absorb oxygen from the air. Many plants, number 2 is many plants have large air spaces within their internal structure to store air in case of shortage in the soil. Number 3 is they have large leaves and good growth. Okay, so these are the examples of, so these are the points, or we can say that some adaptations of the plants of marshy areas. Okay, move on to the next, that is plants in the coastal region. See, the soil in the coastal region is sandy, the temperature is high and air is humid. Coconut tree is the most common tree seen in the coastal regions. Some adaptations of these plants are as follows. So see here, number 1, leaves are thin and long, allowing strong wind to pass through them without causing excess damage. Right. Number 2 is the tree trunk is strong and flexible. You can see the coconut tree, its stem or trunk is very flexible. And number 3 is they have very large seeds, so that the seedlings are stronger and can survive for a longer period. Fine. Move on to our next topic, that is aquatic plants. So children, what are aquatic plants? The plants that grow in water are called aquatic plants, right? Such plants are adapted so that they can survive in the water. There are 3 types of aquatic plants, right? Freely floating plants, okay, and fixed plant and underwater plants, right? 3 kinds of plant. These are underwater plant and freely floating plants and fixed plants. So lotus is the example of, or water lily is the example of fixed plant. Understood children? So let's talk about first freely floating plants. What are freely floating plants? You can see here floating plants. You can see here floating plants, right? These light spongy plants float freely on the surface of the water. So we have two examples are freely floating plants. These are water hyacinth and the duckweed, right? Their stems are reduced and roots are poorly developed, right? Their stems are reduced, so roots are poorly developed. You can see here, roots are reduced and stems are reduced and roots are poorly developed here. And the leaves have a thin waxy coating so that water may not wet the surface and block the stomata, right? The leaves are wax coated. So see, the leaves are wax coated. So in this way, water may not wet the surface and block the stomata. Understood, children? So we have example of freely floating plants, water hyacinth and duckweed. All right. Now come to the next. Fixed plants. Next one is fixed plant. So you can see here fixed plants. These have roots and long hollow stems, right? These have roots. We can't see root here because they are fixed in the bottom, right? But they have hollow stem. Look at these stems. So these are hollow stem. The leaves are broad. The leaves are broad and float on the surface of the water. All right. Some plants like water lily and lotus are fixed plants. Okay, children? They breathe through pores on the upper surface of the leaves. They breathe through pores here, upper surface of the leaf. Okay? So these plants are called fixed plant. All right? So next one is underwater plants. So what are underwater plants? Look at here. These water plants have narrow leaves with no pores, right? They breathe through their body surface and help to keep the water clean. Pondweed and tape grass are example of such types of plants. All right? So these are the example of underwater plants, tape grass and pondweed. All right. So you can see here the picture of underwater plants. So this is tape grass and this is hydrilla, right? So these completely submerge in the water. These plants have ribbon shaped. You can see here ribbon shaped leaves so that they do not tear by the force of flowing water, right? They can protect themselves from the force of flowing water. Such plants have no stomata, right? They don't have stomata, so they breathe through their body surface like this one. So they can breathe through their body surface. So here you can see the example of underwater plants, hydrilla and tape grass. All right. So children, now move on to the next, that is other plants. So let's talk about some special plants. Mushrooms and moulds do not contain chlorophyll. They are not green, right? They live on other plants. So they are called parasites, right? So These plants do not have chlorophyll. You can see here the example of parasitic plants, right? They don't have chlorophyll to produce their own food. Such plants do not have leaves, stems and roots also. You can't see its leaves, their roots and their stem also. Such plants do not have, okay. So they are fungi. Example of these kinds of plant, they are fungi and mushrooms. All right, children. Okay. And if we talk about some other plants, some plants are not able to produce their food because of changes in the environment, like poor soil conditions. They get their food from insects. You can see here, these kinds of plants get their food from insects and are called insectivorous plants. Usually, or we can say that in other words, plants which eat insects are called insectivorous plants. So this is the example of insectivorous plant. This is the example of insectivorous plant. This is called Venus flytrap. Okay, this is called Venus fly trap, and this one is known as pitcher plant. All right, children, both are the plants are insectivorous plants. Okay, so children, let's talk about plants uses. So here, uses of plants. Cereals, you can see here, cereals belong to the grass family of the plant kingdom. All right, cereals belongs to the grass family. Cereals belongs to the grass family of the plant kingdom. All right. The food we eat basically comes from plants of the grass family. These are called cereals grains. So what are called cereals grains? Plants which belongs to the grass family basically comes from plants of the grass family is known as cereal grains. Right? Cereal grains are separated from the plants and are grounded into flour, which is used for making bread or chapati, right? Just we take in our breakfast and lunch and dinner also chapati, right? And rice grain are cooked as whole and eaten. All right. So grass is also used as food for animals like cows, sheep and horses. All right, grass is also used as food for animals like cows, sheep and horses. The dried remains of the cereal plants are called hay. All right, जो बचा हुआ सूखा हुआ घास होता है, that is known as hay. Right. Some other important uses of grass plants are given below. So you can see here some other important plants. Bamboo is a useful grass, right? We can say that bamboo is a useful grass. We can make many furniture of the bamboo plant, right? And which is used to make huts, baskets, mats, etc. In a village area, you can also see many huts, and when we go to any tourist place, we can see many huts made by bamboo plant, right? And we also use baskets made by bamboo plant, furniture, mats, etc. All right, children. Now another use, some grass plants have medicinal value. Right, we also use some grass plant as medicines. All right, Grass is also used for pecking. Okay. The third use of grass plant is we use the grass also for packing. Right. Number fourth is grass plants are also used to conserve soil. Right, children? This is very important point. Grass plants are also used to conserve soil. All right. Now, children, we have completed this chapter. In this chapter, we have learned about adaptations in plants, and there are two types of plants. Plants grows on land. These are known as terrestrial plants. Plants we can see which is grow on land are called terrestrial plants, and plants grows in water are called aquatic plants. Right? So children, in this chapter we have learned about more about the plants, its adaptations, and terrestrial plants, aquatic plants. All right. So which we have learned, here we have some points: conditions of soil, temperature, and rainfall decide the nature of plants that can grow in a particular region. And the next one, land plants are called terrestrial plants, which I also explained you. The next one is plants on hills have mostly needle-like leaves, example pine, right? And the next one is plants in deserts have thick stems and generally no leaves. So these are known as cactus. And in plains, plants have a large number of branches and numerous leaves. We can see a banyan tree, neem tree, gulmohar tree. They have lots of branches, right? And plants that grow in water are called aquatic plant, which I explained you. The example of aquatic plants are lotus, water lily, duckweed. Okay. And aquatic plants are divided into three groups: floating plants, fixed plants, and underwater plants. All right, children. Cereal grains belongs to the grass family. So one more important point, cereal grains belongs to the grass family, right? On marshy land, the breeding route of the terrestrial plants come out. All right. So that's why they are known as breeding roots. Venus flytrap and pitcher plants are insectivorous plants. So these are the two examples of insectivorous plant: Venus flytrap and pitcher plant. So children, we have learnt these points in this chapter. So go through with this chapter, revise this chapter, and learn about the terrestrial plants, aquatic plants, and some other plants. All right. See you in the next science tutorial class. Bye bye. Have a nice day.